All right, we are at an undisclosed location this morning, and you can see this beautiful Chevrolet truck right here, and it has some rear end problems. So the customer had a ring and pinion put in this jewel, and there are some differences in the way ring and pinions are made now versus how they used to be made that a lot of people just are not aware of. So this gear, if you can see, the ring gear is tilted back at the top. So the whole gear face is rolled back. So this is a two-cut gear. A lot of late model, pretty much everything after late 90s, early 2000s from the factory have a two-cut gear. And they set up totally different than a standard 5-cut gear that we've been using since the Stone Age. And the issue comes in when, so basically what happened is a ring and pinion was installed, and I mean, we can't know, but I can only assume by what I see that whoever put it in just didn't understand what kind of gear it was. And so these ring and pinions only want 3 or 4 thousandths backlash. And once, it's counterintuitive. So on a standard 5-cut gear, moving the pinion in and out is how we control the pattern on the gear teeth. But with a 2-cut gear, actually moving the whole ring gear left to right is how we control. So, you know, as you're tightening up the backlash, you constantly have to move the pinion in and out to track. And maybe I'll do a whole video when we set this thing up, but because we're probably just going to go ahead and put a new gear in it because it's been run so long incorrectly, set up incorrectly, that we're probably not going to make this gear shut up. But right now it's got like 7 thousandths backlash, and it should have 3 or 4. And then let me roll it down so you can see. So you can see the pattern on the drive side, and it's really high. And then on the coast side, the drive shaft's still in this thing, so we turn in the transmission too. So on the drive side, you can see that it's also high. So once it's happy, the pattern, and most of that is probably from the excessive backlash, but till we bring the backlash in to spec, we wouldn't be able to know if the pinion is in the right location. And the aggravating thing with a lot of these OEM type gears and all of these import gears is most of them do not put a lapped depth on the pinion head. So when you know, for instance, a US Gear or Richmond or, you know, a quality ring and pinion, when the ring and pinion is lapped in the machine, that center dimension from the center line of the ring gear to the face of the pinion is inscribed on the pinion head. And then, you know, we have an actual depth gauge where we can verify that dimension. And the whole deal, the whole deal is, if we get, you know, if we know the pinion is supposed to be at, you know, X dimension, it was lapped at X dimension, then we know that if we put it there and we check the pattern and the pattern is good, then the housing is machined correctly. If you put the pinion where it's supposed to be and the pattern is not correct, then there's something wrong with your housing. And you might have to cheat that dimension a little bit, but, you know, we're talking about a few thousandths, not, you know, a large difference. So the pinion should always be at the depth that it was lapped, because that's going to be the quietest, smoothest operation. So I just wanted to make a little short video on this, because like I say, I see this all the time, and people just don't know the difference between these ring and pinions and how they set up, because like I say, they're polar opposites. When you move the backlash on a standard 5-cut gear, it's just moving the pattern in or out of that tooth, left or right. And there's a ridge in there. So like if you get the backlash tight enough on a standard 5-cut gear, it will just make one little bitty fine stripe all the way down in the root. So that's a problem. But with these gears, the way they're machined, these 2-cut jobs, you can bring it down to, I have some that are perfect and happy at like 3,000ths backlash. Super tight, but just the way the gear profile is, that's what it wants. But before I quit this, I'm gonna take you around this truck. And if you follow our Facebook page, a business Facebook page, there's some pictures and video on this truck where the customer, he drove down. It's got an LS1 in it, and we built the LS1. How many years ago was that?
Probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah, five or 6 years ago, we built and it's the first bone stock LS1 I have ever built in my life. All of them, somebody wants it hot rodded, but this one is a driver. It's got AC, power steering, rack. It's got a tubular front end. It's really nice, and it's a driver. But it was a super low mile engine, and we didn't even have to bore it. We honed it, rings, and I don't even think we didn't turn the crank or nothing. We polished crank. It was really nice. Yeah, we just valve job, surfaced the heads, and put it together, and it's a really nice motor. But let me bring you around here and show you this thing. And this is clean under it as it is on top of it. And look at there, the motor ain't even leaking oil yet. It's amazing. And you can see all these beautiful awards he's won. And that's his prize right there, the C10 show at Maggie Valley. How many trucks was in it?
419.
419 trucks, and he placed in the top 5. So that ought to tell you just how nice this truck is. And the inside is as nice as the outside. All right, when we get the ring and pinion in for this thing, I'm sure I'll do a follow-up video, and we'll show you setting up the ring and pinion and getting all that sorted out.